Hello and welcome. This morning we're going through the Gospel for the second Sunday in Lent. So if you haven't tuned in before, the quick overview is we've got a picture from the images of the Evangelical Gospels, which is also available on the Internet Archive. The link is below. There you go. Then we've got the Gospel in Latin. I don't have to highlight that. Gospel in English. Handwriting sheet. We just run through what the words mean. And the crossword puzzle. We don't actually do the crossword puzzle online. That's for you to print out and do at your leisure. I think that's it. Yep. Okay. So, in for announcements. Let's see. The first note is, you'll see the picture actually doesn't say Dominica on the top. It says Sabato. Sabato is Saturday, the Sabbath. So yes, your Seventh-day Adventists will point out that the Sabbath is Saturday, not Sunday. Anyway, we have the same Gospel reading on yesterday, the Sabbath. Oh, it's in the future at the moment because today's Tuesday. But yeah, from the bottom it says Dominica 2, quadragesime, idem evangelium legitor. The second Sunday in quadragesime, the same Gospel is read. There you go. So the people, doing the book is arranged as a life of Jesus. So it goes through from the birth to resurrection, ascension into heaven, and all that. And then after that, they put in which gospel reading each picture corresponds to. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have the Transfiguration today. Also, I wanted to mention an amazing new. It's actually been around for a while. So Liturgy of the Home produces a calendar every now and then. And they also got these Lent companion booklets. And the companion booklets, I think, tie up well with what I'm sort of doing here. They have nice colouring in pages, which are more like colouring in pages. Like my ones are woodcuts from very old books. They're made to stand alone. But these ones are actually... she does have the coloured version. So it's sent as a PDF. There's no postage. And the Lenten Companion booklet is really cheap at only $2.50. So this is made from pictures from her full calendar, and the full calendar is really amazing. The full calendar is $15. It's also got a subscription. Why am I sounding like an advert for them? But they put in a lot more effort than I do. And so, and they also go to the Latin Mass. So you see bits of Latin in there. It works well for people who are learning the Latin because they use the Douay Rheims translation like I do, which is pretty much an English translation of the Latin. So when it sounds funny, it's because it's translating the Latin directly. It's not trying to put it in more easy. It's got Hebraisms, they say in the book as well. So bits of Hebrew or Hebrew ways of speaking come through the Latin and come through into the English. So anyway, so that's my little plug for Liturgy of the Home. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm actually bought those things myself. And so if you're into colouring in pages for the Latin Mass, they're very good. And they're for every day, not just for Sundays. I'm just doing for Sundays. Okay, so on to the Transfiguration. We have Móyses, and do you remember another Hebraism or possible mistranslation? It was that Móyses, when he saw God, his face was shining, but it came out in translation as his face was horned. So you often see him with sort of a mix between shining and horned. His face, usually you have two rays of light coming. So that's how you know that's Móyses. And so the other one must be Elijah, because you've already read this story, haven't you? God the Father in heaven, God the Son right in the middle, transfigured, shining like the sun. So they've got a sunburst behind his head. There's angels off to the sides. That's funny, it's got a G there and an H there. Okay, yes, I used to go through the whole, there's words down here for each, corresponding to each letter. And it sort of exposes my ignorance rather drastically when I try to read those out. So concentrating the gospel reading. It's great to have a read through. I mean, there's decoding the script as well as decoding the Latin. Wow, so it's got these little, being a medieval type picture, it has more in one picture than you'd expect. So there's an A, B, another B there. Anyway, yes, Peter, James and John are the ones who are falling down amazed at this vision. Okay, so on to the gospel. I want to find out who these guys are. I will find out later. Okay. Unless anyone's saying in the comments that I have to go. If you comment now, there's a little bit of a lag. I think, we do have viewers. Yes, okay. If you comment, then I can go back and read that text after we've done the Gospel in Latin, because the Gospel in Latin is the important text. In illo témpore, assúmpsit Jesus Petrum et Jacóbum et Joánnem fratrem ejus. So in illo témpore is at that time, as usual, assúmpsit, taking up. So Jesus does the assúmpsiting. And who is he assúmpsiting? Because, so the ending with an S on the end shows it's in the nominative case. So he's the one assuming people, or taking people up. And then the people that he took up are in the accusative case, or object case, and they have an M on the end of their names to signify that. So in illo témpore, assúmpsit Jesus Petrum et Jacóbum et Joánnem. So Peter is Petrum, that's fairly obvious. James is Jacob, and Joánnem is John. Fratrem is his brother. Ejus is his bit. Fratrem is brother. Et ducit illos in montem excélsum seórsum. And ducit is led them in the montem excélsum, very high mountain. Et transfigurátus est ante ejus. So transfigurátus, you can see that's transfigured. Ante is before, so he's transfigured before them. Et resplénduit fácies ejus sicut sol. And fácies, his face, resplénduit, shone like the sun. So sol, that's where we get solar power from. Things like, can't think of anything apart from solar. That comes from the Latin sol, which means the sun. Vestiménta autem ejus facta sunt alba sicut nix. So vestments, we call them vestments, they're clothes or garments. Facta sunt were made alba, white. So albinos, they're very white. So it comes from the Latin for white. This is alba is describing the vestimenta. So it has the same ending. And like the snow, so nix is the word for snow. Sicut is as. So alba sicut nix. Et ecce apparuérunt illis Móyses et Elías cum eo loquéntes. Et ecce, behold, apparuérunt, they appeared, Móyses and Elías. You can almost see that's Moses and Elias, but that's how they write it in the Latin. Loquéntes is speaking or talking. Okay. So Moses and Elias appeared talking with him. Respondens autem Petrus dixit ad Jesum. So Peter responded and said to Jesus, Domine, bonum est nos hic esse. So Lord, it is good, bonum, good, for us to be here. Si vis, if you want, faciamus hic tria tabernacula. We can make 3 tria tabernacula tents. So the tabernacle that you have in Mass, it's all usually made of metal. We don't usually think of it as a tent, but it's being like the tabernacle in the old temple. Okay, faciamus hic tria tabernacula. So we can make them here, hic. Tibi unum, for you, 1. Moisi unum, for Moses, 1. Et Elie unum, and 1 for Elijah. Ad hoc eo loquente. Ecce nubes lucida ubumbrabit eos. So while he was speaking, loquente, behold, ecce nubes. Now I looked up nubes. It can be plural and singular, so a cloud. I think in the Latin, sometimes when you're doing science, you learn the Latin names for the different types of cloud formations, and nubes comes into that. Lucida, lux is light. Lucida is bright. Umbravit is overshadows. So umbra is a shadow. So it's funny having a light cloud shadowing people, but you can kind of imagine it. Yeah, the light is getting in the way of being able to see, so that's sort of shadowing. At ecce again. How many ecces are there? Okay, there's an ecce up here, ecce over here, ecce here. Et ecce vox de nube dicens, and behold, a voice from the cloud saying, Hic est filius meus dilectus. This is my son, the beloved. So dilectus has the same ending as filius, so it's describing filius. I'm just thinking with the grammar, sometimes the endings aren't the same, but it can still be this pointing to the same thing because it's anyway, it's grammar. This is just reading the gospel. In quo mihi bene complacui. So hic est filius meus dilectus, this is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. So placui is the pleased part, bene is well. Ipsum audite, hear him, hear ye him. So audi is if you're talking to one person, listen. Audite, if you're talking to all your people, listen. Et audientes discipuli ceciderunt in faciem suum. Et audientes, and hearing, the disciples fell on their faces. Et timuerunt valde, and were exceedingly afraid. And last paragraph. Et accessit Jesus, and Jesus came up and tetigit eos, and touched them. Dixit quae eis, surgite, arise, et nolite temere, don't be afraid. Levantes autem oculos suos, so raising their eyes, oculos suos, neminem viderunt. Neminem is no one. They saw no one. Nisi solum Jesum, except only Jesus. Et descendentibus illis de monte, precepit eis Jesus dicens, and descending from the mountain, Jesus charged them, or gave them this precept, saying, Nemini dixeritis visionem, donec filius homines mortuis resurgat. So, tell the vision, dixeritis is the telling, you tell, the vision to no man, nemini, donec filius homines mortuis resurgat, until the Son of Man is risen from the dead. So you got all that, I hope. Now, if you want to test how well you did, go to your crossword puzzle, and a lot of those words are in there. I just realized I usually have been making another download to make it easy to see the Latin and English side by side. So I just paste the Latin and English on the one A4 page in 2 columns. So, yes, I guess that will be really quick to do. Okay, so now on to the handwriting sheet. So I had to take a few liberties here. This transfigurátus est fit on one line and translates as he was transfigured, which goes over 2 lines in the English. And if I had more time, I could have probably hammered it into shape. But anyway, you can see transfigured and transfigurátus are on different lines, but they're so similar. I've left it like that. Ante eos is before them. Ante is the before bit. Et and fácies eos is face. Fácies is face. You can see that's really close. Resplénduit did shine. We've got resplendent in English. Sicut soul, like the sun. Vestiménta, this is where it crosses over again. Vestiménta autem ejus. See, autem is that and, or that conjunction sort of word, but it doesn't go first, so I can't. Sometimes I can just move the Latin around, but this time I didn't feel comfortable. So autem ejus is the and his, and vestimenta is the garments, but we use vestments as garments, so hopefully that makes enough sense. So that's another crossover bit. Facta sunt are made, or became. Alba is white, sicut nix, as snow. So that is, did I get the footing right? Yes. That's my pick of stuff to have a look at more closely. Okay, so I can probably close that. There we go. So I think that's it. It's only 14 minutes. And I hope that helps. I'll get that another printable ready, and yeah, have a great Sunday. Yeah, hope you can get to Mass too. God bless.